Well, good afternoon and welcome to TIO Stadium for round 15 of the NTFL season with Southern Districts up against Nightcliff. Matt Hepworth, Rob Cross and Wally Gallia in the studio this afternoon. Game about to get underway in 10 minutes' time, but before we do, you'll notice on your screen at the moment the players and umpires about to make a giant T on the ground. Now, this is in memory of Thomas Snell, who at only 13 years old passed away from sepsis in 2017. He was in Brisbane on a rugby union trip representing the NT when he suddenly became sick. Thomas played 2 games of representative rugby on the Saturday, and the following day he was placed on life support and not expected to survive the night. Thomas spent 20 days in ICU, and despite world-class treatment, his life support was turned off on the 22nd of July 2017. One day Thomas was texting, asking for some cough lozenges and playing rugby for his under-14 side. The next afternoon, doctors were connecting him to life support. Only 5 hours before driving Thomas to hospital, his dad had taken him to see a GP as he'd been vomiting and had diarrhoea overnight. Too unwell and lethargic to take to the field for that day's rugby games, which was unusual for the active boy. The GP sent him home with gastro tablets and he was told to ride it out. Now, back at the hotel, Thomas's breathing became shallow and his lips and skin had changed colour, so his parents took him to the hospital. Thomas walked in relying on his dad's shoulder for support, but he was already in complete organ failure. If anyone around Thomas at that time had been aware of sepsis, his family may have known to take him to the hospital sooner, and his chances of survival would have increased by 5% for every hour. Now, sepsis is a largely unknown to the general public, with only 40% of Australians having heard of the condition, yet sepsis claims more Australian lives than breast cancer, prostate cancer or the national road toll. Now, the T for Thomas charity was created by Thomas's family to help raise awareness of that illness. With early diagnosis, it can be treated. A fit and active member of the community with close links to the Crocs, the T for Thomas campaign is one that's very dear to the club, who have been raising awareness of sepsis since. For more information, please visit T for Thomas website, which is www.tforthomas.com. Gentlemen, footy, is generally a pretty cheerful and happy time, but, very sad for the Snell family, but it's great to see Southern Districts and both teams coming together in support of this organisation today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Matt. And, it is. Southern Districts do a fantastic job for the T for Thomas, and T for Thomas also goes out to Taminmin High School when they play games against other colleges to raise money. Southern Districts, the players can all buy their Guernseys, and the staff have also purchased T-shirts with their names and numbers on the back, and the club does a fantastic job by purchasing all these items. Players buy them back, they auction them off, and they raise some good money for the T for Thomas and also sepsis. Rob?
Yeah, and when I arrived today, I was greeted by a mum and 3 kids with a ball they're raffling off, and young Lucy, I found out, was 4 years old, just bold as anything, came up, spoke beautifully. Do you want to buy a raffle ticket?
Yeah.
How could you say no? But it's an amazing cause, tragic event.
Yeah.
And as you say, Southern Districts wearing a special jumper today with T on the front instead of their red, white and black, they're orange, white and black. So it's a great commemorative gesture by Southern Districts and working towards the broader issue of trying to tackle sepsis.
It certainly is. We'll take a very short break, be back with the game in just a few minutes' time. But once again, that website for more information, please visit tforthomas.com. We'll be back with the game in a few minutes' time.
All right, Nightcliff Tigers have won the toss and they've opted to kick towards the airport end today.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to TIO Stadium, round 15. We're getting to the pointy end of the NTFL season. Southern Districts up against Nightcliff. And a very good afternoon to Rob Cross and Wally Gallio in the studio this afternoon, or the commentary box, I should say, with my weekend football hat on. Gentlemen, looking forward to a cracking game ahead this afternoon.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good game. Southern Districts have really pulled some players in for this game, and probably the biggest inclusion that gives them a bit of stability, a bit of seniority, Rob, is Richard Tambling's back in, and he's what he can't do with the footy and his skills, he actually gets the team organised, and he's a very positive influence on the younger players.
Just to the left of screen there, Wall, number 2, as we just zoom out a bit, but number 2 in the middle there, good size in the midfield, tremendous experience, and the man next to him, Cameron Islet, if they run alongside each other all afternoon, are in for a treat, I think.
Yeah, well, they've got 3 nickel medalists in the middle at the moment, Wills, Islet and Philo, so it's not a bad start for Nightcliff.
Underway, maybe a tad early. Corbett up against Miles. Miles won the tap. Philo went through, gave there to Islet. Miles, clever tap on there to Hagan. Sweeps the handball out wide to the wing to Philo, who broke away from the centre scrimmage. Kicks up towards Melville, comes out on a long lead, spoiled away from him. And the Southern District's defence will clear to Josiah Farrer, who marks. He puts the big hand out to say to Michael Hagan, I'm not running any further. Stops and props and then squares the ball inboard to that man, Richard Tambling. And there is Cameron Islet on the mark. Those orange jumpers. Recognition of the T for Thomas match. Kick by Ogden was over the top of Josiah Farrer. Came to Bowles. His handball sold his teammate there into trouble. Back there to Tambling. Quick kick inside up towards full forward, and a lovely mark taken. And that is taken by Stanbrook.
And as we spoke, Rob, before about Richard Tambling's had his hands on the footy again, and Josiah Farrer's had a fantastic, consistent season this year, and he started well also.
Stanbrook directly in front. Just his second game of NTFL footy.
He kicked 3 in his first game for Southern Districts, and Matt and I were looking at his stats. He's played 193 games total for 585 goals.
Fortunately, his goal-kicking prowess then was just a little awry off to the right-hand side for a behind only. So because of the fact he's only played 1 game prior today, he can't qualify. But I guess it's a sign that Southern District's serious about trying to still this slim hopes for a top 3 spot, of loading their team up.
Yeah, they're trying to. So it's not a bad ploy.
Kyle Winter-Irving, who's been a revelation, really, coming up from Pints in Div 1 to play Premier Division, has not looked out of place at all. Has a tremendous year. He marked in front of Dingo. Kicks over the man on the mark. Philo sets himself in front, the smaller man, the spoil away over the top. Josiah Farrer, hard attack on the footy, and the man there in Phil Wills. It's out of bounds. So, entertaining start. Opening couple of minutes. The only score on the board is a behind to Luke Stanbrook for the Crocs. Very warm conditions after a week of rain in Darwin the last couple of days. It's been heating up again. Islet front position, couldn't take it with him. Will's got his hands to it briefly. Liam Holt Fitz is chasing Jaden Watts to the boundary. There'll be another throw in.
Saw an interview with Shannon Rusker a couple of weeks ago, and said that the Crocs are really looking to improve on their starts. That's probably what's let them down a lot in those first quarters in the since the Christmas break.
Miles gets to the shallow throw in. Only as far there as Staunton. His kick's chopped off by Bowles. Daniel Bowles, wonderful player across half-back for Nightcliff. Kicks towards centre-half forward. Wrestle there, McAdam wrestling with Bricknell back in the side. And the free kick's going to McAdam.
Yeah, it's just held off the ball. Matty Bricknell got in the wrong position and tried to grab his jumper and turn him around.
Bricknell pokes a little short pass down the line to Jaden Clark. Doesn't waste any time. Flares it out wide to Dylan Barry, who marks. Good movement of the ball by the Crocs. They look on today. Barry kicks long towards full forward. He's got to play a beautifully weighted kick.
Yeah, Dylan Barry, a very accomplished player. He won the Everingham medal for best on ground, the Alice Springs Grand Final. Plays for Rovers, played for NT Thunder. Had a stint down in Norwood pre-season last year, and that didn't work out. Returned back to Alice Springs and played in the premiership with Rovers, Rob.
Former Blue and Demon, Jeff Garlett, has played a few games for the Crocs. We've seen him in a couple of those, and he hasn't really set the world on fire. What can he do from 30 metres, tight angle, and he's away to the right for another behind for the Crocs. They lead 2-0. 4 minutes gone first quarter.
Yeah, he'd be happy with that early touch, I think, Jeff. He has struggled to get ball in hand so far this season.
Kick out almost sold the Tigers into trouble. High kick there, I think it might have been kick it. Up towards the wing. Back of the pack, Tambling first to the footy. Eilert pressures him. Michael Bowden slaps it forward. Clever back tap there. Gickis. Winter Irving. Back to Gickis. And he's nudged out of bounds. Boundary throw in there by Rory O'Brien, an important player for the Crocs today as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fast and hard at the moment. There's tackling pressure from Southern Districts. Both Nightcliff have been very good, and Camry Eilert's just come off the ball and it's given Richard Tamblin a bit of a rest.
Tambling. Staunton. Brain does the smothering. Duffy, clever. McLaughlin almost scooped it up. Hagan on his hammer. Bowls again. He's had about 5 touches already. Kicks it up towards centre half forward. Holman, the Dower Crocs defender, plays it cleverly. Gets bowled over though. Might be a chance for Moo. He knocks McAdam off the footy. Can Moo come up with it? Well done by McAdam. Handball back in the Holman direction. All the way back to his teammate there at the top of the square there, and Zach Smith. And they're away. Switch comes back inboard to Warung. Handball to Bowden, the bearded Bowden. Kick is wonderfully weighted. Just a little bit too tall in the end for Dylan Barry. Out came Stanbrook. 2-on-2 contest. Good tackle on Drogamullah. Brain gets there towards the boundary line. Head-high contact surely by Williams on Brain.
No, he's called it the other way, Rob. He's called it for diving and tunnelling.
Yep. And so Williams wins the free. And thought he might have got 50 as well. Damien Williams, the former Buffalo, wonderful footballer. Set the ball up in towards the pocket. Once Will Farah beaten to the footy, had a couple to beat. And Nathan Brown, the former Tigers skipper, marks in the right back pocket in front of the Michael Long centre. Switches play, more dangerously. The bounce just comes back to kick it. Oh, Duffy, though, might chop it off. Kane Riley, though, got the favourable bounce and streams away from centre half back. Wobbly looking ball might come off. Mark dropped. Melville, vacant square. Quick snap from 45. Trent Melville, has he got the first goal of the afternoon? Runs, trickles. Away to the left, another behind. So no goals yet. 6 minutes played, first quarter.
Yeah,
Nightcliff 1, Southern Districts 2.
Yeah, the ball's moving quickly up the ground. Both sides are playing freelance football at the moment, and it's good to see the umpires letting the game go.
Oh, well done by Moo. He did not give up that chase as Smith tried to get around him on the mark. Holt fits his handballs too slick for Winter Irving. Well done by Hagan. Missed his target, though. Melville sliding by on the right-hand side. It goes out of bounds.
We saw a pretty slow start from the Tigers last week up against St Mary's. I was expecting it to be probably more of an exciting clash than it was, but it really took the Tigers probably a quarter and a half before they found their feet and found the scoreboard.
Holt fits, clever. Another shot on goal from Melville. It's right across the face. First to get there is Warung. In fact, the boundary line will beat him. And so in the left forward pocket for Nightcliff, boundary throw-in.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot around the football, and I think that's perceived pressure just happened there. He thought he didn't have as much time as Melville, generally a better finisher in front of goals than that.
Winter Irving in from the side, won the tap. Lionel Ogden picks it up. There's a hold. It's going Nightcliff's way. So Nightcliff will have a pretty good chance here. It's Matthew Bricknell with the set shot. And our friend Ricky Nolan says he's the best set shot in the competition. So you'd expect him to bring up the first goal of the afternoon from 25 metres out, 45-degree angle to the airport end of TIO Stadium. For a 5-point lead, it's right across the face. 2 behinds each.
Very inaccurate start to the game.
That probably, at the end of the day, blew Southern District's score against Tiwi out last week, because they kicked 3 goals for the second half, but they also kicked a lot of points, which was, you know, they missed some easy goals. Rob?
Big fly in from the side there by Warung. Comes back in, attacking 50, and Melville strong in front. Looked to play on quickly. Wilson wanted it about 20 metres away on a better angle. Melville has opted to go back and have a shot himself from 30 metres out. Pretty tight angle. 2 or 3 metres in from the boundary line in the right forward pocket. He's a right footer, so not his preferred side. But he's a goal kicker. Led the goal kicking last season. He leads it again this year. And he comes in, and again he's across the face, pushing it into the pocket. The ball bounces off Ogden's chest, and he's furious with himself. He's had a pretty good piece of it.
Throw the fist in the air there.
Yeah, he's a bit upset. He nearly swallowed it.
So 9 minutes played first quarter. sides testing each other out. It's 2 behinds apiece. Some districts probably had the better of the first 3 or 4 minutes, but since then it's been buried deep in the Tigers' attacking zone. Brilliant smother. It's by Holman. Sends it outside, attacking 50. Bowls there, though, forming a wall. Kicks it inside. Bricknell in front, and he marks. So we'll get a second chance at goal in about 90 seconds. This is a tougher shot. It's between left half forward and the forward pocket, about 35 out. A couple of players offering a lead more centrally. Brain was one of those, but Bricknell likes his chances. For the lead to Nycliffe, pokes at it. It's a lead of 1, not 6. He's hooked the kick. So 3 behinds plays 2 behinds. Almost 10 minutes gone first quarter.
Yeah, both teams are playing one-on-one football. Districts have played a bit of a deep forward. And we see Jeff Garland inside 50 against Kane Riley. So I think they want to slingshot the ball down to Jeff and make it a one-on-one.
Long kick by Ogden. Out towards half-back. And he's got O'Brien, who took a strong mark. Pokes the ball into a rung.
Bit happening off the ball over this side forward pocket, grandstand side. A few players from both teams involved in it.
Watts to McLaughlin, short pass. Oh, just too high. The movement looked good. The build-up was excellent, but the kick in the end, straight down the throat of Kane Riley. And the turnover's on through Kickett. Jaden Kickett. Brewer. A couple of years with the Richmond VFL side. Excellent player. To Wilson, to Riley. The handball wasn't great. Corbett, clever, quick handball to Garlett, to Tambling. A couple of ex-AFL players combining. Comes back to Staunton, the firefighter. Kicks it up towards 50. Hand on it there, taps it back to O'Brien. Can he squeeze the ball out? Back to Staunton. He's 70 from goal. Kicks up towards the right forward pocket to Farah. Good build-up by the Crocs. And Farah has a chance from 30 metres out. Right forward pocket, 2 metres in from the boundary line.
Yeah, just a bit of a fumble here by Nycliffe, and that gave the opportunity for Jeff Gartlett to come in, who let Kane Riley go, and luck's a fortune, and the ball moved quickly, and Dean Staunton involved a couple of times with that, and O'Brien's been active pretty early in the game, and
in comes Will Farah, and he's missed as well. It's an extraordinary start to this game. 11 minutes played, 3 behinds Nycliffe, 3 behinds the Crocs.
So either laugh or cry. I think we'd be having a laugh up here in the commentary box. I don't know if the respective coaches would be, though.
Brewer, Gikis. Back to Brewer. Streams off half-back. Kicks to Arnold. Thought about the handball to Kidney. Instead kicks. And kicks beautifully.
Good mark.
And the mark has been taken there by Sharp. He looks in towards the pocket. A beautiful kick again to Bricknell. Bricknell dropped the mark. He fell to his knees and the ball jarred free. He seemed to have control of it. Lays a pretty strong tackle and almost turns it back over to the Tigers' advantage, but Moo couldn't control it. It's out of bounds, right forward pocket.
yeah, inside 50s have squared up now 4 apiece, and Nycliffe have had 2 marks inside 50, while Southern Districts have had 3.
Melville will take the ruck against Corbett. Melville won the tap. Flipped it to the right. Quick kick out of congestion from O'Brien. Worked out well to Watts. Good by Staunton to Ogden. The bounce came back to him just to Josiah Farah. Good hunt there by Bowles. Drags him down, wins the free kick. Geez, playing well, Daniel Bowles.
Yeah, he's had some early possessions, and that was a fantastic tackle.
Late contact from Tambling. Was it simultaneous with the mark to Brewer? I fancy it was. Bowles coming past. He's taken down in a strong tackle by Josiah Farah. And a tackle there might have been a little crude on Brewer. Tambling's got some venom today. Kicks inside attacking 50. Numbers favour the Crocs. Michael Bowden takes a strong mark defensively at centre half back. Stabs a kick out wide to the running O'Brien. Started to rack up the touches early in this first quarter. Wonderful smother, but it comes back to O'Brien. Centres the ball to Corbett. Crocs number 1 ruckman. He's had a pretty good season in the games we've seen, at least. Just goes long towards centre half forward. Warung flies. Or was it Stanbrook? Might have been Stanbrook. Josiah Farah. What can he set up? Tumbling kick was awkward. Looked for Will Farah. Watts. Mopped up here. Ball comes back inside, attacking 50. Might be an opportunity. It's going to stay in. Just. Ball comes back towards centre half forward. Tambler, can he get there? He can. Dives, drops the chest mark. Watts an opportunity. Was he tripped? He was. Free kick to Watts. And here surely is a chance for the first goal from 20 metres out, slight angle.
Yeah, Jaden Watts, product of the Palmerston Junior program that moved to Southern Districts and played at national level at under 16 level last year. Robin was very serviceable as a swingman. Matty Campbell used him through the midfield and both forward and back. And the last game against Queensland, he was probably our best player along with Praven Tipalura.
He does kick the first goal of the afternoon. Splits the middle to the Michael Long centre end. And the Crocs lead by 6 points. 1-3 plays 3 behinds. 14.5 minutes gone first quarter.
Yeah, a long time coming for that first goal, Matty. And they're both feeling the way. And, you know, Jaden Watts comes off the ground and... you know, but Nightcliff had their opportunities. They just, you know, they fumbled and, you know, like that turnover there in the middle of the ground. But sort of seems like a bit like last week where St Mary's had them pressured one-on-one and were more composed. And then Nightcliff came into their own sort of the back end of that first quarter. And this is the time that districts always get into trouble, the back end of the quarters where they fall away a little bit.
Yeah, they leak them out pretty quickly and often slow to start in these first... since Christmas, Southern Districts have been really slow to start in these first quarters. So it's good to see them with that early lead. But as you said, Wally, they've got to hold that pressure for not only the back end of the quarter, but for another 3 quarters as well.
Miles won the tap. Eilert was taken high. Advantage paid. Philo, 60 out from goal. Kicks a long bomb. Brody Philo couldn't quite get the quick reply.
Yeah, he did that a couple of times last week in the last quarter. He kicked one from 50 and then he snaggled up with another one from about 60.
Rain came hard at Duffy. Scooped up by Holt Fitz. Throws the ball into his boot. Melville will mark just inside the field of play. Off the side of the boot, wastes no time and squares it to Brewer, who's got a much better angle, albeit still at about 45 degrees and will kick from 40.
Yeah, Brewer's an inclusion this week and midfield forward that can play back as well. Butcher's the one that's missed out this week.
I think that little passage of play, Walls, A, the example of their fitness, and B, they just don't stop looking for a teammate in a better position.
No, they share and run really well and they play the lanes of the ground really well and they switch the play.
Brewer started it right. It threatened to come around and then faded late for another behind to the Tigers. 4 behinds, the reigning premiers and top of the ladder team this season. 139 the Crocs.
5 behinds now, Rob.
Thank you. Margin 4 points. So Josiah Farrer ran hard. It gave an option and took a strong mark on the run. His delivery's not too bad. Corbett. Zach Smith out of bounds.
While we have a quick stoppage, gentlemen, timely to point out for those who might have missed the broadcast earlier, Southern Districts wearing, of course, the T on their Guernsey in memory of Thomas Snell, who sadly passed away from sepsis in 2017, had close connections with Districts, so of course today's match in memory of him.
Brain went by hand looking for Philo, missed its target.
That's probably the only real difference, Rob, I see with Nightcliff at the moment is they're just a little bit more fumbly than what Districts are, but generally that's a mainstay of the game along with their fitness and the way they share and care for each other.
Miles, Philo, handball over his head. Gickus has been good, shrugged a couple of tackles and gave it to the free Brain. And Brain's kicked down the line, wanting Winter Irving. Heaps of pressure coming from behind from Innes. And the ball goes out of bounds. So the defensive unit of the Crocs going pretty well at the moment.
Cammy Eilert's on the ball now with Philo. And Sean Wilson comes in. Sean was very good last week for Nightcliff. Kicked a couple of goals. Kicked their first for the game.
Oh, huge leap from behind. Hands on the shoulders. No free kick. So umpire off the ball's found one. Staunton has infringed against Philo, I think. Or is it Brains coming up with a free kick?
Josh Innes was the infringer.
Brain, seen him play well this season as well. Kicks inside attacking 50. Brewer, dangerous in the middle of the pack. Couldn't get his hands to it effectively. And the ball trickles through for the Tigers' 6th behind of the afternoon.
So the umpires for today, Joel Morrison wearing number 415, Mitchell Foster, and young 23, Lachlan Kendrick, product of the umpiring academy.
Clever play by O'Brien. Socket off the ground, found the chest of Staunton. Wanted Will Farrer, but Nathan Brown wearing him pretty closely, and the ball goes out of bounds for a throw-in. 50 metres around from the Southern District's goal to the Michael Long centre end. Won't be a long quarter, just one goal kicked so far. 19 minutes played. Tigers 6 behind 6 points. The Crocs 139. Last year's grand finalists have played already twice this season. And in both those games, the same result as the granny last year.
And Arnold comes back on for Nightcliffe, who I thought was probably their best player last week. He's just in and under, feeds the ball out well, and his work rate's incredible.
Miles gets to the front, wins the tap. Lots of the orange jumpers of Southern Districts around the footy. Weaving through. Clever give there. It was good by Farron. Garlett marks. Directly in front, 15 metres out. There was some slick play there in congestion. And Garlett. I like him on the snap, Wally.
Yeah,
As a Carlton supporter, and watched him a lot of times on the set shot, even from close in.
Met with him a couple of weeks ago just to catch up, and he wish he was still at Carlton with Eddie Betts.
Stabs at it and stabs straight. Wonderful goal by Garlett. And so they sneak away a little bit in a low-scoring game. The margin is 9 points. The Crocs lead 2-3-15. Southern Districts 6 behind 6 points.
Yeah, and that's the difference that we talked about a few minutes ago, Robert, where the difference between Nightcliffe and Districts at the moment, like Josiah Farrell was really clean, then gave a good give. You know, they were really clean off the deck. Williams comes in, keeps the ball free, gives it out. Quick hands by and Dylan Barry.
Is that Jeffy's first goal back in the NTFL? Because he's been a bit quiet since he's been back.
I'd check that, but I think it would be for sure.
20.5 minutes gone, first quarter. Southern Districts 5th on the ladder. It's going to be tough with waiting on the result from Tiwi against the Darwin Buffaloes, but Tiwi win that today, they're going to be hard to knock out of the top 3. But the Crocs still a slim chance. Damien Williams barges his way through, feeds off the handball, wasn't quite accurate enough. Soccering off the ground, there's Farah trying to control it in the goal square. Was there a hold? No. Tigers can clear through Bowles again. Thumping ball out to Hagan. He'll get it on the bounce. Watts coming the other way. Just enough pressure, though Hagan was up to the task. Back to Gickus, can go over the top to Wilson, the former Buffalo. Sean Wilson close to the boundary line, stabs the kick, pinpoint to Philo. Philo on the left boot. Here's an excellent kick, although the stretch from Dingo was good. Knocked it away from Arnold. McLaughlin there lending assistance for his Crocs teammate. Comes back to Holman. Good sidestep. Got around Arnold. Winter Irving comes in to pressure Tambling. Strong tackle there on Jaden Clark. Comes to Wilson. The turnover's on. Kick over the head of Holman and Melville. McLaughlin. Melville dives after the foot. He does well. Gave it to Holt Fitz. Excellent play as the siren sounds for quarter time. The forward movement has broken down, but pretty good effort by the Tigers right on quarter time. Almost had a scoring chance. Or is there a free kick? It has been picked out. Maybe for a hold or a leg. So a shot on the quarter time siren for Sean Wilson. He'll kick from pretty much 50 metres, I reckon. And that might test him well.
Yeah, Sean's a good finisher, but I'd like him better on the run. And last week, every time I commented on a player having shot for goal, they missed. So I think he'll probably make the distance. We'll go off to the right.
Oh, Wally Gallio, it's hooking for a goal. It's hit the post. Well,
I told you.
At quarter time here at TIO Stadium, Nightcliffe 7 behind 7 points. Trail the Southern District Crocs 2-3-15.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
It's almost time to go back to school. Urban students start school on Tuesday the 28th of January. Remote students start school on Wednesday the 29th of January. So go on, make school part of your story.
So we can feel earlier, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing can ever bring me down.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice, still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
Listen up, beginning and families. I'm almost time now to go back to school. Town student gotta go back on Tuesday, 28th of January. Bush student, they're gonna start Wednesday, 29th of January. You gotta be there from day one.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. It's quarter time. Nightcliff 0 goals, 7 behinds. A pretty inaccurate quarter for Nightcliff. Southern Districts 2-3-15. Matt Hepworth, Rob Cross and Rob Gallio with you this afternoon. Well, gentlemen, we spoke a lot earlier in the quarter about the fact that Southern Districts have been pretty slow to come out of the blocks since Christmas and also the back end of their quarters, but they've ticked all the boxes for the first quarter today.
Yeah, they have. They led the clearances for the first quarter. Inside 50s were pretty even. The one that really stood out to me was the unforced turnovers. So Nightcliff had about 8 unforced turnovers to District's 4 in that quarter, and that comes back to the fumbling.
Wouldn't have had too many goalless quarters this season, if any, Nightcliff. 7 behinds at quarter time. Miles tapped into the path of Islet. Whistle's gone. A hold has been paid, and it's going the Crocs' way. Jaden Clark is the recipient. Goes against Phil Wills, reigning best and fairest winner in the competition, former Buffaloes captain. Wobbly kick in the Will Farah direction. Spoil was good from Brown, and then clever kick out towards the wing in the vacant spaces into the path of Hagan, who got it on the bounce. Kicks in towards the pocket. Oh, good stretch and spoil away. Dingo's kick is good to Duffy. Duffy inside defensive 50, called to play on. Oh, it kicks into a pocket of Tigers. Mark spilt by Bowles. Philo had the ball stripped away by McLaughlin. Kicks up towards half forward, hits the chest of Barry. Wastes no time. Kicks in the Stanbrook direction. Over his head in the Garlett direction. Gickus came out the other way and is hobbling a little bit. Brain, handball was good. Riley, centre half back. Kicks it out in the Islet direction on the wing and he marks. No, he doesn't. Spills it. Good pressure from Bowden. Mops up. Runs away. Clears with a kick. O'Brien, will it stay in? Wants the bounce. Doesn't get it. He was 20 metres in the clear. The nearest Tiger was Hugo Drugamiller, but it just wouldn't sit. It went left instead of going right.
Yeah, it's interesting what they're doing with Hugo Drugamiller. He played mainly in the ruck and forward last week, and now he's playing in defence. And just Cammy Islet going to ground and Michael Bowden keeping his feet and winning that contest on the far side wing in front of the scoreboard.
2 minutes gone, second quarter at Terrio Stadium. Nightcliff 7 behind, Southern Districts 2-3-15. Crocs are on 30 points in 5th spot coming into this round, with the Tiwi Bombers on 36 points, Buffs on 32. So they're close to that 3rd spot, but need a big win here to keep themselves in contention. Thumped out in the McAdam direction. Throws the handball out to Bowden. Oh, what a kick by Bowden! Beautiful ball to Barry. He had a couple of Tigers around him. If Bowden spotted him up from 30 metres, kept the pass low, and Barry took a strong mark between Riley and another Tiger defender.
Yeah, it's one area that Michael Bowden's done a lot of work on. People have been critical of him in the past because he turns the football over, but this season he's worked really well and his efficiency would be very good.
Barry's kick's good as well. Well. We're in for a shock result here at Terrio Stadium. Very early stages. We're just into the second quarter by 3 minutes. But the Crocs have all 3 goals of the match so far and lead by 14 points, 3-3 to 7 behinds.
Yeah, I think the coaching staff at Southern Districts, especially Shannon Rusk, would be happy with this start. They're playing some really good football. They've been clean, and you know that's just a classic example of how well you can kick the ball and pinpoint, and you don't get any better than that, Michael Bowden.
Corbett waits for the restart up against the much taller Miles, but Corbett's competed pretty well. He's got a good spring on him. Miles reaches over the top, down the throat of Philo. Duffy comes in off the wing, drops the chest mark as Bowden again shrugs the tackle. Slick back to Bowden. Runs towards centre half forward, kicks long. Garlett from behind. The little nudge was too obvious, I fancy.
Or is it free kick off the ball?
Coming all the way back to the centre square. Well,
yeah, Matt Duffy gave a bit of a rib tickler to Guerra, and umpire Joel Morrison saw that as the end zone umpire and came in and adjudicated it pretty well.
So Brewer kicks up towards centre half forward. Well played by O'Brien. Couldn't quite complete the mark, but intercepted, then got a free kick for over the shoulder. Advantage was almost going to be paid there by the umpire, but he thought better of it because there was none. And O'Brien. Oh, the mark dropped by Bowden, and a high tackle in frustration. Brewer mops up from 30 metres. Nightcliff get their first goal. So a couple of errors. Duffy might well have cost them that goal because they were in their forward line when he infringed in the Tigers' forward half of the ground. And another slight error across half forward opened the door for Brewer, and the margin's back to 8 points.
You see both interchange benches pretty quickly, and Matt Duffy's come off a rest. Brewer kicks Southern Districts Nightcliff first goal, and other goal kickers for Southern Districts Watts and Gartley kicked one in the first, and of course Dylan Barry just kicked the last one. So back in the centre of ground with 5 minutes gone. Districts lead.
Hill discipline can be so critical, can't it, Walt?
Yeah, well, it is. That Jeff Gartlett did everything well, didn't give a free kick away, marked it inside 50, and that's what he's there for, to kick goals, but it came back centre of ground and it's gone back the other way.
Philo shrugged the tackle, lost control of the footy. O'Brien's going well. Williams, will it sit? Riley coming out the other way. What a great collision that was. Riley held Williams up in the tackle, stripped him of the footy, And the ball goes out of bounds on the wing. Wonderful defence.
Yeah, that free really changed the momentum of the game. I've never all season seen Nightcliff shocked, and that moment there when Districts got the ball out of the centre so quick and then down into their 50, I looked at the Nightcliff players and they were just almost in disbelief, and I've never seen that body language come from the Tigers all season.
Yeah, there's a bit of a conference going over the far side of the scoreboard. One umpire, not sure what's going on, but anyway, it's a boundary throwing.
Mm. So Miles up against Innes. Innes swats it forward to Staunton. He's dragged down in a strong tackle by Kickett. Crocs going forward inside, attacking 50. Stanbrook. Clever tap onto Williams. A couple of former Buffaloes go at it. Sean Wilson and Williams. He's being held. It was over the footy, but that's not how the umpire saw it. And so Wilson kicks towards centre half forward. Watts in from the side. Knocked off the footy by Brain. Moo clever. Double-handed tap back to Brain. Used his brains. Moo, can he flare one over the top? Excellent kick. And Brain marks inside the centre square. Well, they're running well now, Nightcliff. Brewer kicked their first goal. He can line up again, go short into the pocket. Beautiful pass to Melville. Starting to find their teammates, the Tigers. And Melville from 40 metres out.
It's pretty much copybook to what they did last week, Rob. This time of the quarter that Nightcliff started to run and carry and share and didn't miss targets and ended up kicking 8 goals for the quarter. So Districts have got their hands full.
Melville's busy in the first quarter without much result. Good team player. He's got a chance to bring up his own 6-pointer. Leading goal scorer. And he's hooked the kick.
Hard left.
So much so it's out of bounds on the full, Matty.
Talk about that momentum shifts. I was just commenting a couple of minutes ago about the fact that Nightcliff almost looked shocked at how quickly Southern Districts can move the ball. But as you said, Wally, that they've flicked a switch as they did in the second quarter against St Mary's last week, and all of a sudden, all the possessions and all the traffic is now going Nightcliff's way.
Yeah, and as you were talking then, Matt, that from the kick out, Districts turned the ball over, and Nightcliff having a shot on the goal.
Lachlan Sharp from 49 metres. Wonderful kick. Sharp shooter. Turns around to the crowd, pumps the fists, and the margin is back to 2 points. 8 minutes gone, second quarter. 2-7 plays 3-3. Here come the Tigers.
Yeah, this is what they did last week, and Districts have got to stem the flow and stand up now. You know, they can't afford to give silly free kicks away. The forwards have got to work a lot harder to lock the ball in, because Nightcliff will run and carry, and their fitness is very good for this time of year. And Sharp, a player from Strathfield in the Bendigo Football League. So Arnold, Eilert and Will start in the middle of the ground. Josiah Farah, Dean Staunton ready to do battle.
Drugamulla having a stint in the ruck for the Tigers. Try and feed that elite midfield. Well done by Eilert. Held Josiah Farah off the footy. Warung almost took it away, but it came to Hagan, another former Buffalo in the Tigers lineup. And the ball goes out of bounds on the outer side. Hagan, Wilson, Wills, all from Darwin Buffaloes.
Bit of poaching going on.
And of course Williams from Southern Districts. Just moved there this year from Buffs.
Over the top, Innes. Hacked out cleverly. Holt Fitz, long kick on the fly. Melville, good body position, plays on, got rid of Dingo, and has got his first goal of the afternoon. And the Nightcliff Tigers have hit the lead at the 9.5-minute mark of the second quarter. 3-7 plays 3-3, Tigers by 4 points.
And that's why they're the top side. They are relentless. They keep at their opposition. They work things out. They don't panic.
Yeah,
they've created good depth at the club with the way they've developed their juniors, and you know, Hugo Drugamulla started down back and he goes into the midfield as a ruckman, and they can switch people around, and they bring young Liam Holt Fitz up the ground further to give him a bit of leg speed. Lionel Ogden's got his hands full there, so they keep on making the changes, and they know what, as Bill Belichick, all you have to do in the game is play your role.
Standing leap too from Farah. He barely took a step, and it was a vertical jump. But the Tigers go forward again in the Holt Fitz direction. He's 60 out. The shimmy, the shake, the tackle, the dump, the free kick. Surely
Crikey.
It's not going. He's going to pay it the other way for a dumping tackle. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
He took him on.
I think I'd like to see the replay on that. I think the body, there was a bit of force in it, but I don't think it was.
I think he tried to take him on, and the tackler thought, no. It's from Holman, and maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, it was there. No, you can't body slam people like that.
Much smaller man, of course, and the cheek of Hagan didn't come off. Maybe that was why the extra venom in the tackle. Warung looking for O'Brien. They need a goal. They need to steady the Crocs. They've given up the lead in this quarter. And it all came about at around the 5 minutes of this term with a turnover free kick as Garlett was set to line up for goal from 20 metres out. Free kick was paid on the half-forward flank for the Tigers. Since then, they've kicked 3 goals to nothing as Sharp burst his way through, kicks up towards full forward. Out comes Melville. Melville on the left, hooks the ball around. Winter Irving mops it up. Slick handball back in towards Sharp, was too quick for him. He spilled the ball, but then lays a very strong tackle. And was that a free kick for holding the footy? It is. Had no way of releasing the ball. Very powerful tackle. And Winter Irving will come up and line up for goal. I should say Sharp will line up for goal directly in front.
I'm going to tell the story, isn't it? 7 inside 50s to 3 to Southern Districts and 2 goals, 2 on the scoreboard for Nightcliff at the moment. They're controlling this game really well, Matt.
They certainly are.
Lachlan Sharp for his second of the afternoon and for a 10-point lead from nowhere. 4-7 the Tigers. Southern Districts 3-3. 12 minutes gone, second quarter.
And this is what Nightcliff are. They really bully their opposition around the football, and you know, just at the stoppages, I just seem to think the Districts have fallen off the intensity and the tackle pressure. They're sort of waiting for the possession to happen and then going in to find the football. They're not using the lanes of the ground and the corridors. They're not taking any risk as they did in the first quarter, and they're going back to playing in Nightcliff's hands.
It's always going to be naive to think that Nightcliff were just going to lay down and take this. I mean, they are the premiers, and I think I heard a stat the other day that they've lost, about like 2 games almost within the last 12 months, and that includes the previous season as well.
You've got the 3 nickel medalists in the middle for Nightcliff: Philo, Wills and Islet.
Staunton. McLaughlin overruns the footy. Kick it. He's taken in a tackle, holding the footy. Sent forward. Will Farrer, second attempt. Couldn't quite come up with it. Bowles. The Nightcliff half-back flanker kicks wonderfully to Hagan. Spills the mark. Ogden comes through. Brown. Ogden still going. Hagan left it alone there for Bowles. Duffy goes in hard on him. McLaughlin surrounded by Tigers jumpers. Spills back to Brown on his left foot. Into Moo. Bounces off his chest. Strong pressure from McAdam. Corbett turns back and a throw. It's going to be a free kick to Moo. Called to play on.
Yeah, I thought he was played on.
Finds Winter Irving. Lots of whistles. This might come back to Moo from an infringement. No play on's the call.
Downfield.
Winter Irving. Dingo over the top of Melville. Melville runs on the footy. Holman coming at him. Melville steps back inside, shrugs the tackle. Quick snap, no centering ball instead. Wanting Sharp. Spills the mark. Knocked away from him. Diving in strongly there, it was Dingo. Comes out to Moo from 35 metres. Melville again involved. But a couple of Crocs jumpers there. Smith comes up with it. Gets it out to O'Brien. His spearing ball needs to be good. Good control of the footy. And comes back to Corbett at centre half back. So they get away with one, the Crocs. They needed to. Hagan dropping back on Ogden, who flies high. Ogden might have just been impeded there. A little jumper tug from Hagan was seen by the umpire, and Ogden wins the free at right half back. Intensity's lifted. Oh, his kick is clever to Clark, although he drops the mark. Kick it lays some pressure, a legging. Clark wins the free kick, gave to Barry. Barry's kick, Will Farrer, again that standing spring. Garlett, back to Will Farrer, back to Garlett. What can he conjure? Played on pretty quickly. Chopping it down there was Miles. Riley breaks through again. Staunton for the Crocs. Gickus comes up with it for the Tigers, gives to Wilson, and he's got Brown alone at half back. They're going to find a way to defend again. Down the throat of Kickett. Marks at centre half back for the Tigers. A little bit uncertain. Now he gets his kick away. One-on-one contest. Brain is there. Up against O'Brien. That'll be a good duel. Two smart players. Brain keeps it along in front of himself. O'Brien, then Brain's beaten him to it. Now the numbers favour the Tigers. McAdam dropping back on the footy. Bricknell comes up with it. He keeps it along in front, pushes it. Bricknell again. He's now got two Crocs around him. Slaps it back to a teammate. Right half forward. Opportunity here for the Tigers. Fumbling, bumbling. Josiah Farrer, a very strong tackle. The umpire says no. I'm going to have it. Ball up.
That Brewer, I think, looked down at the bottom of the pack there.
Blake Brewer.
And looked like he pulled that in.
60 metres out from goal, right half forward for the Tigers. Leading by 10 points. Crocs kicked the opening goal of this quarter and led by 14. The last 4 goals have been all Tigers. Comes inboard there to Clark. Neat sidestep. Wants Garlett in from the side. One grab. Gickus did well to hold his ground. Barry. Jumper tug. Free kick to Gickus, who played well. Christos Gickus in the right back pocket. To Bowles. Normally a good user on the left boot. Straight down the ground to Philo. Hits him on the chest in front of McLaughlin. He flares it out wide to Nathan Brown. All alone. Although coming hard is Will Farrer. The ball sits for Brown. Gets around the hard-charging Will Farrer. And then a wonderful kick onto the chest of Kidney. Dropped the chest mark. Time to recover. Gave to Cam Eilert. Look out. Tackle coming from Staunton. Kidney got his kick away. Well done by Ogden. Worked his way to the front. Holt Fitz. Duffy now. Holt Fitz still going with some strong tackling. Picked up there by Innes. Wanted Tambling, who's got a little quieter since the opening phases of this match. Good tackle by Bowles on McLaughlin. Wraps him up in a strong tackle. Ball not going anywhere.
We just feel the intensity's lifted in the last couple of minutes. Probably not so from Nightcliff. They've been switched on since the start of this quarter, but Southern Districts know that it could easily get away from them. They're still 10 points down. Nightcliff 31, Southern Districts 21 in 17 minutes gone in the second quarter.
Kidney, as he went to ground, gave the handball off to Eilert. To Sharp, back to Eilert, can loop one over the top to Winter Irving. He's got a bit of space, time to deliver, and he delivers beautifully to Bricknell. Hits him on the chest, 50 metres out. He's got a lead on in the square, goes in that direction. Spoil comes, but running onto the crumb is Brain, and he slams through another goal to Nightcliff. Wonderful read by the halfback flanker. He drifted forward, backed himself, and Nightcliff lead by 16 points after trailing by 14 points at the 5-minute mark of this quarter.
Yeah, right, Matty. Southern Districts have increased the ball pressure around the contested ball, but they're not breaking hard enough and not staying with their players on the outside of players. We saw then Brain started with O'Brien, and O'Brien just watched him clean that marking contest up. He came in, he was clean, and he kicks his first for the game. And that's Nightcliff's 5th for the game, for the quarter, and they're in the same fashion as last week.
7 behind straight in the first quarter, 5 straight goals in the second.
Think about where they could be with that lead if they were a bit more accurate in the first quarter.
Drogomulla. Josiah Farrer. Warung. Arnold chases him. Warung was good. Turned around. Slipping over was O'Brien. Can't really afford to do that against this Nightcliff side. Somehow force it forward again. Williams. Sockers off the ground. Duffy. Well done. Bounced to his feet. Still had control of the foot. He gave to Staunton. Tigers came out of him quickly. Tried to sweep. Ducking the head. McLaughlin did well not to infringe. Brain of Nightcliff. Drogomulla clever. Tapped over the top to Winter Irving. Off to Kickett. Kicked in towards the pocket on the lead. Melville lets the ball bounce. Comes off his boot and travels about 20 metres outside attacking 50. Eilert one way or the other. Watts did well to corral him for a moment. Moose slips the tackle. Centering ball's excellent. Winter Irving will mark and can play on quickly. Sharp all alone in the goal square for his 3rd goal of the term. Couldn't quite play on. The pressure came late. But Sharp will line up from 10 metres out, almost directly in front, for another Nightcliff goal. And if he kicks it, the margin will be 22 points. Wastes no time. He does kick the goal. It's his 3rd. A big Tiger roar let out. And it's a 22-point lead to the Premiers at the 20-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, interesting fact that Nightcliff are dictating terms pretty easily now, and it's not inside the contest, it's outside the contest where they're just running hard and fast and using each other.
20 minutes gone. You're watching Aboriginal TV Channel 4's coverage of the TIO NTFL season, and a good afternoon to those on our radio simulcast this afternoon. On a muggy afternoon, Nightcliff 6-7-43, Southern Districts 3-3-21.
Sharp keeping his season average up. He's kicked 15 goals from 5 games prior to this match, and he's already got 3, so 18 from 6 so far, with more than 2 quarters remaining today. No John Butcher today for the Tigers, so their depth's incredible, isn't it, Walt?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if they can't get their forwards to kick goals, their running players kick goals.
Some holding going on. Brewer starting to prove a handful for the Crocs midfielders. Kicks to right half forward. Good one-on-one battle. Hagan, O'Brien over the top. Arnold goes to ground. Bowden sweating over the top of it. Philo squeezes a little kick out. McAdam for the Crocs. Neat sidestep. Gave to Smith. Gave to Bowden. Had to get the ball to boot pretty quickly because Eilert was bearing down. Philo, lovely on the left. Excellent on the right. Kicks to Winter Irving. Over his head. Watts, watch out. Holt Fitz. Holds his feet. Throws it on the boot. Can he hook it around enough? Yes, he can. They're all joining in. Tigers everywhere at the 21-minute mark of the second quarter. They break out to a 28-point lead, 7-7 to 3-3. 7 behinds in the first quarter, 7 straight goals in the second. And Southern District just 1 goal for the term.
And the good old saying, a scoreboard pressure does put a lot of pressure on players, and we just saw 3 or 4 handballs that were turned over by Districts, just mainly not to put their ball into the clear and their teammates in the clear. That's just to get rid of it, because the pressure by the Nightcliff forwards have been very good this quarter. And again, outside the contest, Nightcliff have runners.
Tiwi Bombers have trounced the Buffaloes. 38-point win to the Bombers. O'Brien, Staunton, with key midfielders for the Crocs that are being beaten to it at the moment. Wilson, hard running from half back. Little left foot kick. Looking for Drogamullah. Stanbrook. Staunton back to Stanbrook. And as far as Drogamullah. But there's enough orange jumpers around. At least get it out to the boundary line. Between wing and half forward. Corbett putting his hand up to take the boundary throw in. Wonderful turn by the reigning premiers. They've lost 1 game all season. That was to St Mary's before Christmas. They had another crack last week at Mary's and were thumped, albeit a weakened side. And that ball smashed towards the boundary line and will trickle out of bounds. And the player there, number 12 in the orange jumper, Duffy. You can look back to the 5-minute mark of this quarter when he gave away a free kick at half forward for the Nightcliff Tigers, and that's the turning point of the term.
Changed everything.
Yep. Defining moments in football, they called.
Miles. Corbett gave up on getting to the contest. Eilert. Winter Irving, excellent. Running back with a flight, smashes it forward inside attacking 50. Watts runs hard and chose the right option. Well done. Just sold a bit of candy. Gave it to Ogden, gives it to Smith. O'Brien. They've got some space here. Duffy's over the top if he wants him. Goes by hand. About to be closed down by Hagan. Got his handball to Josiah Farah. Traps the footy. 55 out. Unloads on the left boot. Has he got the hook? He hasn't. It's away to the left for a behind. The Crocs' second score of the term. They're 3-4-22. Nightcliff 7-7-49.
No doubt on the distance there from Farah. Just a bit off on the accuracy.
Kick it. Big ball. Working his way to the front, though, was Barry, who takes a strong mark. Then goes short to Garlett. And Jeffy Garlett, the former Blue and Demon, will line up from 40 metres out. Nothing Gickus could do there. It's an excellent kick, and Garlett's pace always going to prove difficult. He's looking around a bit. He's got Corbett out to his right. How are those hammies, Jeffrey?
We're just about to find out, Rob.
He's kicked 1 for the afternoon. Desperately needed goal by the Crocs. Pokes at it and hooks the kick for a behind. 3-5 plays 7-7.
Regardless of the miss, though, it is good to see Jeffy Garlett getting a lot more of the ball. We were pretty critical of him in those first few weeks. Barely got any touches, but I'd say as each week goes on, he's getting himself more into it. And we saw he got a goal earlier as well, and just around the ball a lot more as well, which is good to see.
Bowles to do the kicking in. Huge ball, 70 metres, I reckon. Miles drops the mark. Tambling comes up with it for the Crocs and will send them back inside attacking 50. Out comes Stanbrook. Got the little nudge there from behind from Kickett, who dives over the top to win the footy. Out over the shoulder. So another late chance here. And it will be 50 metres. So a certainty for the second goal of the term for the Crocs to Jaden Clark. And that gives them some hope, Walt.
Yeah, I mean, it was Bowles' clearing kick was really good, and it was just fumbled by the ruckman in Miles. And then Richard Tambling, just with his experience, just didn't panic with the football, just got it deep inside 50, and it was a good call by the umpire. The player was on the ground trying to regain the ball, and the Nightcliff player came across his head, so good call.
20 points the margin at the 26-minute mark of the second quarter. They squeeze one more. It's not insurmountable, 20 points. It's been a big quarter by the Tigers, but they've just been able to stop the roll.
Both teams can come out of the centre pretty quickly as well. We saw Nightcliff do it a lot last week as well, and Southern Districts with that link-up that I love with the Farah brothers. If Josiah can get a hold of it and then down to Willie, they can both do it within, both teams can do it within 15, 20 seconds.
Miles, bigger body, won the tap. Philo wants Kane Riley. Riley taking in a strong tackle, threw it out, no play on the call. Umpire the whistle to his lips, made the right call. Play on. McLaughlin. It's long ball in towards the forward pocket. Here's a chance for another goal here. Quick snap is just away to the right from Clark. He would have had 2 in 30 seconds, but couldn't quite bend it, or bend it around too far in the end.
Yeah, so even though that Nightcliff have had the better of this quarter and they've kicked 7 straight goals, I mean, you have a look at Districts, they kicked the last 2, it puts them within range of going close at half-time.
Kick it for Nightcliff to right half back. Oh, good mark by O'Brien. Sweeps the handball. There still might be a chance. Setting sail for goal. Is away to the... Just snuck in for a behind on the left-hand side. So peppering away Southern Districts late in the second quarter. Unable to bring up a major. Bowles, left back pocket. Riley's there, and a good spoil from McLaughlin. Riley's handball, though, he bounced up pretty quickly. Watt scoops it up, been impressed by him. He's had a good game, although he spills the mark. He's trying to handball to himself. He might have been. He's still going. Might have been high there on Hagan. It was free kick to Nightcliff player. He kicks in the sharp direction. He's kicked 3 goals for the quarter. Didn't try and mark. He tried to tap it over his head. Holman, Moo, good tackle on Ogden, a throw.
Yep.
Tried to take him on, unsuccessful. And Ryan moves 55 metres out at left half forward. Kicks up towards full forward. But Bowden slides in and takes the saving mark for the Crocs. Right on half-time. A good result for the Crocs, I reckon. They wouldn't want to have conceded late in that quarter after a mini comeback to close out the term. At half-time, it's the Tigers 7-7-49, the Crocs 4-7-31.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
It's almost time to go back to school. Urban students start school on Tuesday the 28th of January. Remote students start school on Wednesday the 29th of January. So go on, make school part of your story.
Absolutely 0.
0.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be 0.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
kilonewton centrifugal force, infrared remote control.
How does he do it?
24.5 kilowatt diesel motor.
He doesn't just know how to operate every piece of Kennard's hire gear we get in, but also its service details, its safety checks. I know.
It's as if he can hypnotise each piece.
Give me 2 passes with sauce. Coffee white with 1 bun with icing. No pink icing.
Yep, no worries, Terry.
Time to escape, cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. Please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
Looking for the best and brightest to join your team? At Quality People, we specialise in finding quality, hard-to-get professionals, and we have an office right here in Darwin. Kick your recruitment goals with Quality People. qualitypeople.com.au.
Now that's quality.
On Territory roads, anything can happen, so you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble.
Listen up, beginning and families. I'm almost time now to go back to school. Town student gotta go back on Tuesday, 28th of January. Bush student, they gotta start Wednesday, 29th of January. You gotta be there from day one.
Choosing a health fund can be tricky. Some are too big, too small, or just not right at all. But with Territory Health Fund, you can make sure your cover is the right fit.
The NTFL clubs and umpires would like to share the following events and messages and thank their sponsors.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
Get your panties, I'll go home and get my panties, and away we'll go. Oh, shuffle up the buffle, shuffle up the buffalo. Oh.
Wedding or birthdays coming up? Maybe a get-together with friends and family. Waratah Clubhouse at Gardens Oval is the perfect venue for your next community function. Celebrate in the home to one of Darwin's iconic football clubs, Waratah Clubhouse.
For more information, please visit the relevant club or umpire's Facebook page.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. It's half-time. Nightcliff 7-7-49, Southern Districts 4-7-31. Matt Hepworth, Wally Gallio and Rob Cross with you this afternoon. Gentlemen, a very inaccurate first quarter by Nightcliff. In fact, they got those 7 behinds that are sitting on the board now in the first quarter and those 7 goals in the second quarter. But Southern Districts wouldn't go away. And in fact, in those dying minutes of the second quarter there, Wally, they had a few chances on goal.
Yes, they did. And they could have almost squared the ledger up if they'd kicked the 3 they missed. So it would have been 7-7 apiece. But again, you know, as you said, Matty and Rob sort of called the points. The 7 of them, they should have been 7 goals in front, maybe a quarter time.
Underway in the second half, Miles wins the tap. Can the Crocs get the early goal? Slick hands came out there from Eilert. Brain inside attacking 50. Winter Irving front position. Knocked off the footy by Holman. Josiah Farah. Tambling. Winter Irving lumbers after the footy, scoops it up. And a free kick late against Tambling. And Winter Irving will win it at right half forward. Every player is marked further down the ground, so he goes inboard to Eilert. Jumping up and down on the mark is Des Corbett. 7 goals to 2 in that second quarter, Nightcliff's way. Sharp knocked off the footy. Holman running onto it with Brewer. Brewer holds his feet. Lovely handball over the top to Melville. And the first goal of the third quarter is exquisite play by Nightcliff. They just kept nudging it forward. Clever handball over the top. And Melville brings up his second goal for the afternoon inside the first minute of the third term. And the margin blows out to 24.
This is really simple game of football. You're cleaner and you're first at the ball and you win the game and you score goals. Southern Districts just made a bit of a meal of it then with Keegan Dingo and Holman. And Melville gets his second for the game. One in the second
He's one
quarter.
of those people that actually probably should have a couple more to his name. I think he missed a couple down here in the second quarter.
And he missed a couple in the first quarter, which was unusual for him.
Interesting forward setup, Wally. The 3 big guns are deep in attack in Melville, Winter Irving and Sharp, and the smaller players, Moo, Holt, Fitz and Brewer across half forward.
Yeah, well, I think they've backed themselves in to win the centre clearances, and when you've got Cameron Eilert and Brady Filo in there that can roost the ball that long, makes sense.
Watts brought it inside attacking 50 for the Crocs, the Michael Long centre end, but the fist of Bowles was on the other end of it. And he mops up on the centre wing and has time for a bounce. He's had a wonderful game so far. He's had 2 bounces. Runs past the scoreboard with his 3rd bounce. Runs to 70 metres. Kicks in towards the pocket. Kicks it out of bounds on the full.
That's his first mistake for the day. And if kicking out of bounds on the full after having 3 bounces is not too bad. So he's been very good bowls. He's been clean. He's been smart and he's used the ball really well.
Charlie McAdam for the Crocs. Right back flank. Congested wing position. Somehow Corbett found himself all alone. Came up with a handball. Sold it to teammates straight into trouble. Breaking away is Philo. Spearing ball. Out comes Sharp. Spoiled away from him. Moo comes up with it. Quick snap on goal by Moo. Have they got 2 to open the third quarter? Yes, they do. Moo brings up his first goal. And Nightcliff break away early in the third term, and the margin is now 30 points, 9-7 to 4-7.
Corbett did really well on the wing to go on uncontested mark, and then he sort of squared up, looking like to kick the ball, and then put his own teammate under pressure and turn the forced turnover. Really hurt Districts going back the other way, and Moo kicked a very good goal under slight pressure. That's his first for the game. That's Nightcliff's 9th for the game, and they keep control of this game, Rob.
Pretty happy there, big smile on his face there, Moo, the round 12 rising star earlier in the season. Nightcliff boy through and through.
And a stint at Subiaco last year.
Miles and Corbett. Corbett wins the tap to Tambling. Controls the footy. Good sweeping handball out to O'Brien. Little kick's terrible, straight down the throat of Kickett. Didn't even cross the attacking 50. Kick out towards the wing. Hagan to centre half forward. Riley lopes up from half back, falls over and then sweeps a handball looking for a teammate in the pocket in Melville. Dingo Tambling cuts back through traffic, gives to McAdam from centre half back, and his kick is turned over as well, straight down Brain's throat.
Rain turns one over to Josiah Farah. So some mistakes coming from both sides. Crocs love a goal here. He was off and will be held up, Dylan Barry. No, umpire said it was okay.
He played on.
He stepped.
He definitely did.
Will Farah from the side, charging onto it brilliantly is Garlett. That's the Jeff Garlett we know and love. Garlett gets one back for the Southern District Crocs. His second of the afternoon. The margin is 24, 5-7 to 9-7.
And yeah, exactly right, Rob. That's what Garlett's there for. Get the ball in deep. And, you know, like when they turn the ball over the far side, it was just too shallow entry. They should get it deep, get it into Will Farah, let him contest the ball, and let Garlett play the game that he knows how to play. He ran in between three Nightcliff players then to kick that goal. And, you know, that goes back to your pick up of the Nightcliff forward line. I think also, Rob, reason why they play Bricknell, Moo and Guerrero up there, they can play really high and put that pressure on the back end of Southern Districts, and then they go one out to three tall marking forwards.
Garlett goal breathes a bit of life back into the match. 5 minutes gone, third quarter. Duffy stands close to Arnold in the middle. Drogamala leaps high. Innes handball to Watts, who's been terrific, although the kick's turned over. It's marked by Bowles. Philo. Arnold taking in a strong tackle, opens the door for Duffy. Gives it off quickly, too quickly maybe, but might have had a bit more time. He's about to be run down by Kidney. Gets his kick away, goes inside attacking 50. Out comes Will Farah, puts his head down over the footy. Sweeping ball out here to Warung. Gets the handball over the top. Has he got a target? He does. Swinging onto it is a good kick on goal by Barry. Has it got the carry, Barry? Right on the goal line is Garlett, and he'll line up for his third. Jeff Garlett can bring the Crocs back to within 18 points, and he slams it home. Great little passage of play by Southern District. 6.5 minutes gone, third term. It's a ball game.
Yeah, go back.
What a great addition Jeffrey Garlett is for Southern Districts. 107 games with Carlton and 183 goals, as you know very well, Rob Cross. And then over to Melbourne, 78 games, 138 goals. Carlton's leading goal kicker in 2013, Melbourne's leading goal kicker in 2017, and of course not long after his debut, the AFL Rising Star nominee in 2010. And a bag of three this afternoon here at TIO Stadium.
Yeah, that was really well done by Districts. They moved the ball quickly, and Dylan Barry shows his worth. He was in a contested situation, still had a shot at goal, and it was going through for goal, and Garlett on the line marked the ball and kicked truly, and that's his third for the game, and Districts go to 6-7, trailing Nightcliff 9-7.
Warung appears to be manning up on Philo in the middle. Bigger bodied play. He's been doing some ruck work. So an interesting change to his playing roster by Shannon Ruska.
It's not a bad move by Shannon, because this is where Philo comes into his own. When the opposition start coming back, he starts to ramp the intensity up.
Arnold soccers off the ground. Hagan, wonderful one-handed pick-up, but he's well tackled by Watts. Got his handball away. Kidney hacks the kick out. O'Brien, McAdam will need to get rid of it quickly. Does just. Bricknell later. Strong tackle. Big bump. Bang. Great collision. Kidney bounced up courageously. Watts there. And that was Duffy, who doesn't mind the hard stuff.
Yeah, Michael Hagan just paid Jaden Watts a bit of attention after his kick.
So he wins the free kick. Wrong marks. Steps around Arnold. Has a bounce. Lovely kick. They're stepping up the Crocs. Jaden Clark, 70 from goal, centering ball on the bounce to O'Brien, through his legs, has time, steadies, kicks, wants Farah, front position. He wins a free kick down the ground. It's an undisciplined play by Nightcliff, and they want to be careful here. Don't turn it over, Crocs. You've got a shot on goal directly in front from 30.
Yeah, it was a bit late. I mean, there was no malice in it, but it was late, and the ball had gone inside 50, so Will Farah from about 30 metres out, he'd be kicking from about 40. Kane Riley's just wandering through the mark. That should be an automatic 50.
3 goals in about 3 minutes to bring the margin back to 12 points. It was 18 points at half-time. Southern Districts led by 8 points at quarter-time. The skipper Farah, sorry Walt, will line up for his first goal of the afternoon. Oh, and he's missed. If he needed a skipper's goal, that was it. And the margin is 17. Walt.
Yeah, Wairung was really good. He's come off for a rest. He's lasted 9 minutes on the ball, so that's a fair stint for a midfielder. And I think he's one of the reasons why they're back in this game in the last 5 minutes.
Daniel Bowles to the Morris Rioli grandstand side of the ground. Holman with Winter Irving. Gickus farmed it out beautifully and then wins a free kick for over the shoulder. He's been impressive, Gickus.
Yeah, he's been moved off Gartlett at the moment. He started on Gartlett, now he's moved up higher up the ground. Looks like Sean Wilson's got the job on Gartlett.
The side of the boot. Holman, Ogden. Lovely thump of ball on boot. And it was a beautiful pass to Jaden Clark. Underground ball. Up towards half forward. Stanbrook can't control the footy. And away go the Tigers, although it bounces off the chest of Holt Fitz. An unusual mistake, but he's quick. He bounces back to his feet. Has a bounce, has two. Can go by hand to his teammate running out wide in Hagan. He's about to be run down by Watts. Dragged down by the jumper. Just got the handball away to Will. 60 out from goal. Curls the kick around to Arnold. One grab, two. Punched away at the last moment by O'Brien. Sharp was good. Winter Irving back to Holt Fitz. Stepped back on the outside and kicks so behind. Oh, that would have been a wonderful goal by Nightcliffe. But Holt Fitz couldn't quite finish.
Oh, boy, was the excitement there for that finish, though.
Yeah, Holt Fitz really did well. He held the handball to Hagan. Hagan was run down by Jaden Clark and inside 50 and away they went. And great game of football at the moment.
Josiah Farah has the ball spoiled away by Daniel Bowles.
Every time he thought Holt Fitz was down, he just bang up and then the contest again.
Yeah, that's one of his strengths. I mean, it's not much of him. It'd be about 68 kilos ringing wet, but when he moves, he's got some good lateral movement, works really well.
Yeah.
Josiah Farah could get a bit more out of him, I reckon, Walt.
Yeah, he's been quiet today, which is unusual for him. He's been a lot better. And
gave the handball to McLaughlin, who was taken high, wins the free kick. They're not wasting any time. The Crocs gave to Barry, who's thumped and will be down on the ground. So they're having a real crack at them, Nightcliffe, and they are giving away some free kicks late. And so the ball is coming down to Stanbrook, who will line up from 50 on a 45-degree angle. And Brewer was the aggressor, then has come off the worst from that collision.
And he's a bit groggy down on the ground.
Yeah, I think he got a swinging arm.
There he goes up.
By Dylan Barry then, I think, when there's a reaction of being hit, I think. Got one round the nose.
Another chance to make it a two-goal ball game. 11.5 minutes gone, third quarter. Stanbrook sets it left. It's swinging back with a wonderful kick. Great goal by Luke Stanbrook. He's kicked a lot of goals in other competitions. He's only played one NTFL game, and that was against Waratah in round 11 when he kicked 3 goals. He gets his first of the afternoon, and it's all Crocs in this little period in the third term. It's a 12-point game.
Yeah, so Crocs have had the last 4 or 5 forward entries, and they've been pretty efficient with them scoring on each time, even though it was a point. Where Nightcliffe have only had the solitary 4 entries, and they've kicked 2 goals 1 to 3 goals 1 for the quarter, and Districts get 2 goals closer, 12 points. And we've gone 12 minutes, 12.5 minutes in the third quarter.
Back in the middle, Miles and Corbett. The spring of Corbett wins the tap. Philo shrugs the tackle of McLaughlin. Riley, awkward ball, torpedo in the end. Winter Irving does pretty well to get to it on the bounce. His substantial chest and out of bounds.
Yeah, they've moved Josiah Farah out of the midfield and put him forward and brought Dylan Barry in. Just at centre bounces, and then Josiah takes the roll from there, and Dylan goes back to half forward. Brady Filo's been pretty busy for Nightcliffe. He's been clean in the centre clearances.
Corbett works his way to the front. Miles too tall, reaches over, taps to Hagan to right forward pocket. Holman and Winter Irving. Islets. Oh, clever by Winter Irving. Lying on his back, got his boot to it, his studs to it, and keeps it now tied up in the forward pocket, wrapping up Holman in a very strong tackle.
Don't know if Islet knew he was on the ground. He certainly managed to... He said Rob get a boot to it with his back on the ground.
Lovely tap. Oh, Sharp breaks through and kicks his 4th. Too easy, Nightcliffe. And after a period of dominance of Southern Districts, it went forward for the Tigers. Lovely tap down by Winter Irving. Sharp was in the right spot, and he's kicked his 4th.
Yeah, so he's been pretty sharp in the forward line, excuse the pun, and Arnold goes back in the midfield now. Josiah Farah and Phil Wills are going at it in the centre of the ground, and the tempers are starting a little bit fiery at the moment, and Southern Districts just need to go back to playing one-on-one football like they did in the first quarter and just continue to win the ball, because Nightcliffe can continue to roll people around and continue to work pretty hard, as they've done in every round this year. Even when the loss against St Mary's, they still played really hard, and Josiah just needs to get back, concentrate on the ball. Rob, as you said, you haven't called him much, and he hasn't done much today.
So just to slow the momentum of the Crocs, it's back out to an 18-point ball game. 14.5 minutes gone, third quarter. Miles won the tap and follows up at ground level. Couldn't quite get to the contest. Staunton stood in his way. Philo, quick kick out of the pack. Diving after it was Arnold. Kidney in there for Nycliffe. Comes out to McLaughlin. Scoops it up well on the right boot. Kicks in the Stanbrook direction. Gets to the footy, holds his ground in front of Wilson. That goes out of bounds.
Could be a very interesting fourth quarter. I think it was against the Buffs where Southern Districts kicked 5 goals late in the fourth quarter. Was it Rory O'Brien had a shot on goal to actually level the match out?
Yeah, they're correct.
So if they can bring that kind of intensity again in the fourth quarter, or even in the next 10 minutes, they'll be still in with a chance.
Yeah, we've got a blood rule happening at the moment. O'Brien's coming off the ground. Is it O'Brien?
Yep.
Yep. And Matt Duffy comes back on the ground. Looks like he split the... He's got some blood coming from his head. So Matt Duffy will take his place, and the umpires will get the game.
And unfortunately, Wallen Matt for the Crocs, Damien Williams, who's pretty solid in the first half, has got an ice pack, it looked like, on his right quad, so may not be back, which would be a blow.
Yeah, he, during that second quarter, halfway through, he came limping towards the bench. And we see the umpire, young Lachlan Kendrick, pick a free kick in the ruck infringement. He signalled it was too high.
So Des Corbett comes up with it. He's going a long way back. He's going to kick from about 55, but the way he's approaching it, you'd think it's no problem at all. He's almost to the wing, Big Des.
Maybe take a book out of Ben Brown's kicking school.
And he comes from about 56. A lovely strike as it got the carry. It'll drop late and, in fact, to the right anyway. Thuds into the behind post, out of bounds on the full.
And the behind post, a good shake. Still going.
Tigers bring it back into play with a well-weighted ball to kick it. Look out, some strong tackling. Riley. Wilson, oh, great take under pressure, and then kicks up towards half forward. Brain runs onto it, takes the mark, cuts back inboard, can handball over the top to Holt Fitz, instead kicks in the sharp direction. Can he run onto it and get his fifth? Dropping back there is Smith, he falls over. Quick kick over the top was straight down the throat of Bowden, and a promising forward move breaks down as Michael Bowden kicks it outside defensive 50. Ogden does well, a couple of Tigers go to ground. Ogden comes up with a footy, back to McAdam. Pokes a kick horribly, looking for Watts, only as far as Bricknell, and into Holt Fitz, who has the ball spoiled away. Moo beats a couple, Moo for his second. Across the face of goal for a behind. A let-off for the Crocs. The margin is 19 points.
There's a bit of feeling in this game, just the two umpires have come in to sort something going out between the ruckman. Keegan Dingo goes in there to settle things. Richard Tamling having to talk to Miles.
It's almost like a counselling session. Well, I'm not quite sure what's going on out there. Brain in from the side. He's one of the feisty players today. Corbett off to Ogden. King Dingo gets up, wants to have a little go with Wills. Keep an eye on the back play there for me. Well, I'll call the play. Going to ground is Will Farrer. Can he lift? Dylan Barry's hard at the footy, but Riley comes the other way.
And the umpire, Joel Morrison's just come to have a word to Keegan Dingo and also Wills. And Corbett and Miles aren't the best of friends at the moment.
They'll be contesting the ruck. Well, no, it's Farrer. Miles won the tap. Neatly gathered by Barry. Sends it in towards full forward. Kick it, burst out from defence. Thumps it in the Moo direction. The experienced Bowden there reached around with the spoil. Moo will be quicker if he can grab the footy. He can't. Bowden did pretty well. Good bump by Arnold on Warrung. Out to Arnold. McLaughlin got there late. The kick in the Bowden direction. Out comes Sharp. McAdam's there as well. Sharp steps around McAdam. He's 80 from goal, streaming in towards the goal square as Holt Fitz. He'll have 2 to beat. Smith in from the side, takes a strong mark, the bigger man. Held his ground, and the second grab brought it down. Gives to Dingo. Looking to move it quickly. Clark. Here's a chance. Out wide to Staunton. He can mark and go. He does. He pokes the kick to Farah, who's up in front. One grab, not the second. Well played by the defence of Nightcliff. Moose stretches and marks. Thought about going, but Staunton was right there and he stopped and switches play to Bowles. Wants his left boot. Waits and goes now. Melville comes out on a long lead. Gets there. Well done by Ogden. Just enough pressure. And Melville couldn't control the footy and it goes out of bounds. 60 metres around at right half forward.
Yeah, Southern Districts and Nightcliff not giving each other much space, which has gone back to the first quarter. And Southern Districts, I think, learned from the first 15 minutes of the quarter not to give Nightcliff too much space.
Yep.
Because you had 6 goals kicked against you fairly quickly.
Quarter of the match so far. It's a feisty contest. Good skills. It's hard and tough as Philo bursts his way through, dragged down by Josiah Farah. Farah still going. That's better, Big J. Has a bounce. He can go all the way if he wants. He has 2. Will he have 3? He kicks, wants his brother Will up in front. One grab, couldn't come back with a second, but went a free kick over the shoulder. Here's a chance for Farah. The Crocs skipper to bring the margin back to 13 points at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter. It's like a final, this game. It's a ripper.
It is. It's very good. And just Josiah's Farah attack on the football, that's what he's renowned for. That's what he's been good for this year, and that's what he's got to get back to Districts in this game.
And so much throughout the year, probably not since Christmas though, but that link-up between the Farah brothers is so vital.
You know, as you called it, Rob, Josiah Farah was heading for goal until Sean Wilson left his man and sort of cut his angle off.
Missed 1 set shot, and he's missed 2 for the quarter, the captain. Skippers need to bury those from not that far out, and the margin is back to 18 points. He'd be disappointed, to say the least.
3-2 each for the quarter, and really the only thing that's in the stats-wise is inside 50s the same, tackles, clearances are the same, but the unforced turnovers from Districts and forced turnovers are 7-3 in the favour of Nightcliff.
Jaden Watts did superbly then. Arnold tried to turn him inside out and run away with the footy, but Watts was awake to it.
21 minutes gone. You're watching Aboriginal TV, Channel 4's coverage of the TIO NTFL season. And good afternoon to those on our radio simulcast, where it's Nightcliff 10-9, 69, Southern District 7-9, 51.
Another goal will be handy before three-quarter time for the Crocs. Innes up against Drogamula. Shallow throw in. Drogamula tries to tow it along in front. Warung. Clark to half forward, wants Stanbrook. Wilson there with him, it goes out of bounds.
Like your thoughts on Jaden Watts today?
Oh, he's been tremendous.
He's been great, hasn't he?
Reads,
he hasn't done anything.
Well, backs himself.
Yeah.
Good skills.
He's been clean under pressure and he takes the tackle. He hasn't got a big body to break those tackles, but he takes the tackles and protects the football. He's been quite impressive, and Shannon Rusker again sort of continues to, as Nightcliff do, just give their juniors opportunities and keep them there.
Just one of those pure footballers. Duffy, clever, step back inside and finds Josiah Farah. The big man's lifting. Can he do what his brother can't, which is kick a goal from set shots? Will's missed 2 this term, and this would be a team lifter at the 22.5-minute mark of the third quarter. They trail by 18.
You see O'Brien has the tape on his head. He'll be coming back, and Wayrung comes off the ground for Dylan McLaughlin. And Matt Duffy, and Wills comes back on the ground.
Josiah Farah from 40 metres out. Oh, it's not a good afternoon for the Farahs in front of goal. 3 behinds combined to the brothers.
And that's what they did last week against Tiwi in that third and fourth quarter. They missed a few set shots on goal.
Bowles clears defensive 50. Bounces off Zach Smith's nose. Free kick, a hold.
Yeah, Zach Smith was held off the ball there, Rob.
So another late chance. Philo taking his time to get out of that protected area. Umpire lets him get away with it. Hit late by Brain. Legally, said the umpire. In front was Holman, who's drifted down to full forward, the defender. Garlett got a little handball off to Staunton. Hasn't quite got the leg to hook it far enough, and Riley drops in and takes the chest mark for Nightcliff. They'll be happy to hold this margin, I think, because Southern Districts are pressing at 17 points. Crocs would not want to see an end-to-end goal. It'd be crushing going into the final term, I reckon. Can the Crocs manufacture a turnover and get one themselves? Bowles, the deadly left foot. is piercing again. Too far for Sharp. McAdam, Bowden will have to hold. Brewer came at him quickly.
Bowden and McAdam have...
Brewer, smother, handball, move, danger here, has a bounce, can run to 50, can have another bounce if he wants. Corbett comes at him, shrugs Corbett, runs to 30. Ryan Moo gets his second. Cruel blow to the Crocodiles. And a goal to Nightcliff on the cusp of three-quarter time pushes the margin back to 23 points.
Well, what we say about Bowden?
Well, I was just going to say Bowden and McAdam have combined really well over the entirety of the game and haven't made many mistakes, but Michael Bowden's feeling that one at the moment.
Yeah.
We praised him up for his kicking before, and Moo did a great job there. Nice turn on Corbett, and then he gets his second for the quarter, and Districts peppered the goals. And Nightcliff have kicked 4 goals 2 to 3 goals 3 for the quarter, where probably District should have had the last 2 shots on goal and kicked goals and brought them within 6 points. Now it's gone out to 18 points again.
Been a high-tempo game. Lots of players just looking around before that bounce with hands on knees. So a huge leap from Josiah Farah. And a free kick has been paid. It won't be taken because it was a Nightcliff kick. And they're deep, or at least at centre-half back. Three-quarter time, brilliant game of footy. Nightcliff through Ryan Moo might just have a big edge going into the final term. Crocs just alive on 7-10-52 to the Tigers 11-9-75.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
It's almost time to go back to school. Urban students start school on Tuesday the 28th of January. Remote students start school on Wednesday the 29th of January. So go on, make school part of your story.
So we can feel, forever you feel, together real, together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing can ever bring me down.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while downed power lines and flash flooding can be lethal. To ensure you're ready, visit powerwater.com.au/safety or text SAFETY to 0428 323 991 for more information. Because staying safe and ready around Mother Nature should be second nature.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice,
come in and see it.
Still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
Boys, we've got a real big problem. It belongs to you, it belongs to me, it belongs to everybody. I'm talking about family violence. It's time we said no more to family violence, isn't it? Yeah. Think about it.
We've all got to say no more to family violence.
No more!
Family violence is a community problem and it needs a community response from all of us, and sport is a big part of that. But we can all do our bit by being more respectful to each other. please make this year the year we say no more to family violence.
Listen up, beginning and families. It's almost time now to go back to school. Town student gotta go back on Tuesday, 28th of January. Bush student, they gotta start Wednesday, 29th of January. You gotta be there from day one.
Three-quarter time here at TIO Stadium. Nightcliff 11-9-75 up against Southern Districts 7-10-52. The 2018-2019 Grand Final replay. And Matt Hepworth, Rob Cross and Wally Gallio with you this afternoon. And, well, Wally, look, Saints could almost, Southern Districts could almost be in this and have scores level if their kicking accuracy was a bit better.
Yeah, exactly right. But then you have a look at the first quarter with Nightcliff when they kicked those 7 points. It could have been round the other way. But, you know, you've got to kick goals when you've got to kick goals, and Districts had to kick them in that quarter, and they didn't. Both the Farrahs missed, and Nightcliff went down and kicked the goal, and that's what makes them a very good side. You know, everybody's been talking about St Mary's and Nightcliff, but, you know, we were just talking off air about what Southern Districts have got to come back in player-wise as St Mary's. So, and Tiwi, of course, beat Buffs today, and Buffs have fallen off the pace a little bit, but they're still holding 4th spot, and they'll probably end up there. And it's going to be a really interesting final series, I feel, Rob.
Yeah, by virtue of that win today by the Tiwi Bombers, they go to 40 points. So they're now 2 games clear of the 4th placed Buffaloes with 3 games to play. Having said that, the Tiwi Bombers play Nightcliff and St Mary's the next 2 weeks. So they're games they could lose. So it could open up again, potentially. And then if Southern Districts can't get back into today's game, they'll be on 30 points, which is 2.5 games behind the 3rd placed Tiwi Bombers. Here's Josiah Farrah again. Bounces his way to 70 from goal. Kicks in the Garlett direction, gets rid of Geekus, who's back on Garlett. Farrah gets rid of Hidman, taps it forward, but only as far as the soccer off the ground from Bowles. McLaughlin will be there first for the Crocs. Can he gather? Gets the bounce eventually. Oh, Kickett was brilliant, just sweated on him. Laid a tackle, threw him over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in 60 metres around from the Crocs goal at right half forward.
Dylan McLaughlin seems to be a little bit flat and injured to me, Matt. He doesn't save that spark. He's been fumbly today.
Yeah.
He's one of my favourite Crocs players.
Yeah, I like the way he goes about it, yeah.
Good skills, always in the right position, but you're right, Wally. Not his usual output today. Whistle's gone for a hold. There's been quite a few of those paid against Nightcliff players today. Corbett wins this one against Drogamulla.
Yeah, Corbett's been good in the ruck today. He's rucked for most of the game, and he's just puts his big frame in the way. And
sets it up for Farrah! Oh, couldn't bring it to ground. Brown. Wilson in the back pocket. One way then the other. Oh, that's a poor marking there by the forwards of the Crocs, and it could open up as Wills received from Hagan and then thumps it long to centre half forward. Out comes Sharp, crunched by Zach Smith from behind, win a free kick. Ogden in front, Smith from behind.
Umpire said it was shepherding within 5 metres of the ball.
Gets up a little gingerly, does the ginger. Sends it out wide. Eilert pokes a little kick in beautifully to Winter Irving.
Clever.
And this will be a big ask for the Crocs if Winter Irving can kick this one.
As we see Hugo Drogamulla come on for Miles, and it's been pretty efficient today with since the quarter time that Hugo Drogamulla and Miles have been in the ruck, and Irving's gone forward, and it's been quite serviceable, Rob.
It's a very well made up team, Nightcliff, isn't it? Very balanced,
yeah, it's balanced.
lineup.
Yeah. And they got a lot of players that can play in a variety of positions, and they know when to run and when to slow the ball down. They're drilled really well.
Winter Irving for his 2nd goal of the afternoon? First. Would have been his first.
First
in fact.
one, yep.
And it's not, because it's a behind to the left. Margin now to an even 4 goals. 2.5 minutes gone, final quarter. Plenty of time for the Crocs. But did that goal late to Ryan Moon, a third term, take the wind out of their sails? McLaughlin. Dylan Barry, who's been pretty good today. Lovely one-handed pick up by Riley to Philo on the left boot. Well, I reckon Bricknell might have had a dash at that, and he might have got to it. He thought a teammate was coming out, and Zach Smith intercepted. His kick wasn't great. Brain met strongly by Staunton. Going through powerfully, Ogden. Riley, another neat one-handed pick up to Sean Wilson. Steadies on the left boot, delivers beautifully to Eilert. He's got Philo all alone at centre half forward. He's 60 from goal. On the left, sends it into the Holt Fitz direction. He's up, couldn't bring it down. Sharp, quick snap, and Sharp gets number 5. Clever play, and you just fancy they might start running over the top of the Crocs because they're a fit team. And with that handy buffer, another goal or two and heads may drop. We'll wait and see. Only 4 minutes gone, not even in the final term, but the margin is 30 points.
Yeah, Southern District's forwards have got to be a little bit tighter. I think they've got to fight harder for the ball. They're starting to present up the ground, but it's only really half a lead. It's not a positive lead, and when you're coming out of the back line, you just need someone to be positive and give you a good, strong lead. And Nightcliff, if you turn the ball over, as you said, Rob, they're a fit side, and, you know, Liam Holt Fitz jumps high in the air, brings it to ground, and they clean it all up, and Sharp gets his 5th of the game. He got 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and of course that one there in the 4th.
Miles up against Innes. Eilert. Almost found a teammate on the chest there in Brewer. Bowden. Wide to O'Brien. Inboard to Innes on the bounce. Awkward kick. Jaden Clark for the Crocs. Eilert working hard as ever. Came up to Jaden Watts. Only as far as Riley, who's magnificent again. Riley out to Wills. Wills to Hagan. Hagan to Winter Irving. Yeah, picking off the passes delightfully. Winter Irving will go to Brewer in the pocket. The back of the pack, will it sit for Brewer? It will. It'll be a tough shot. It's a clever shot, but right on the line. It's hacked back into play and defended well by the Crocs. McAdam on hands and knees, bounces up with a footy and pokes a barely legal kick to his teammate Dingo in the right back pocket. Plays on quickly. Over the top to Smith. About to be run down. Gets his kick away. Watts up against Kickett. Kickett, well done. Watts hasn't done a lot wrong today. But the bigger bodied player came in from the side, had the sit and brought it down at the second grab. Another reliable player from the back line, Jaden Kickett. Pokes it to centre half forward. Riley leaps and marks. Been good across half back all day and has a chance to kick one from outside 50.
Riley's starting to come into his own in the second half. He started to possess the footy, and now he's starting to float off his man and starting to push forward. And they just keep lining up to have shots on goal. Nightcliff, this well-balanced, well-drilled team.
Riley comes in and doesn't have the accuracy away to the right-hand side, so the margin's 31. And just watching Dylan McLaughlin come off the bench then, while he doesn't look very well, he'd hardly charged back onto the ground.
Yeah,
it's almost like an effort to come back.
Yeah, he's running up and down the spot. He's trying hard, but it's not a normal movement for him.
Came in from the side on that occasion, a big spoil though. Jaden Clark of the Crocs, Warung. Eilert couldn't quite get ball to boot. Free kick's been blown for a trip, and it's going to go the Crocs' way. So 7 minutes gone, final quarter. 31 points the margin. They've got something that can spark them. Got within a couple of goals in the third term after falling behind. Just think it's a little bit beyond them as Holman, reliable defender, will switch play to the outer side. Nice kick, McAdam offers something on the wing. Cutting back in is Duffy. McAdam, can he go to Farah? He now goes to Duffy as he screws the kick 15 metres around the corner. Good defence by Nightcliffe, shutting down the options. Duffy plays on quickly, flares it out to half forward. Cut off by Brain superbly. Spoils it away into the path of Riley. Riley's been busy in this last quarter. Handball not great, but Bowles has plenty of time to mop up and then poke a little kick in the Sharp direction. Can he get 6? Sharp grabs the footy. Bowden comes at him. Sharp on the right boot. Pokes the kick over the top. Winter Irving slides into the chest mark. And it's all Nightcliffe in this final term. Sort of feel they've kicked 3 or 4 already in this last quarter. Their dominance has been so much, but in fact they've just kicked 1 so far.
Yeah, this is their 4th shot on goal for the quarter. Inside 50s are 8-3.
So Winter Irving has a chance. He's missed 1. Chance for his first goal and become the 7th individual goal scorer for Nightcliffe. Sharp leads the way with 5. Melville has 2. Ryan Moo has 2. And the first goal of the afternoon for Winter Irving extends the margin out to 37 points.
Wally, clinical is a word that you used to describe Nightcliffe before, and that's really what they're seeming to do in this 4th quarter now. Just every time they kick, they're holding possession a lot more, and we saw that Southern Districts had a run down on that scoreboard end there before and just really made a meal of it when it came into the 50, and then all of a sudden the Nightcliffe players were all in the right places, linked up really well, and they're just getting the ball clean, uncontested now. And I said, when you used the word clinical before, they're putting on a clinic now.
Yeah, they're just their running patterns and the way they transition the football from one side of the ground and up and down. They just know how to link up, and they know how to get their running patterns right. And once you get your running patterns and transition of football right, your fitness and your skills become a lot easier too, because as you're tired, you don't fatigue, and you can kick the ball a lot better in handball and make better decisions.
Out towards Brain. McLaughlin. Brain steps through a couple cleverly, and then he's kicking towards half forwards, chopped off by Dingo. Good player, Zach Brain.
Yeah, he's been serviceable today.
Pressure coming there. It's good. To Moo. All alone in the square is Cam Eilert. Thank you very much. And Cam Eilert kicks his first of the afternoon. Just a solid Cam Eilert game.
Was that 8 now players with a goal on the board?
1, 2.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, that's 8 players. Moo, Holt Fitz, Winter Irving, Cameron Eilert, Blake Guerra, Lachlan Sharp, who's got 5, of course, and Trent Melville's kicked a couple. And they've become clinical, and you just can't afford to miss tackles like that on the far side. It opens up the game, and Richard Tamlin comes back on for Southern Districts, and the way they rotate their back line, Rob, ball's back in the centre of the ground, but the way they rotate their back line, they just keep rolling over, and they can play deep, they can play high, they can play small, and they can play tall.
3-2-0 in this final quarter, Nightcliffe's way. The reigning premiers are dominating. Philo slung, got boot to ball. Arnold wanted Brewer. Innes. Now the kick comes out of the congestion in the Will Farah direction. Juggles a strong mark. Beats Brown. Put his boot out to protect the footy, which might have caught Brown in the stomach.
I think so, yeah.
Area. And Will Farah missed 2 goals when the Crocs were coming hard in the 3rd quarter that might have put them close. I fancy he'll kick this because he's a thumping kick. The heat's gone out of the game. Too far behind now. 43 points down at the 11-minute mark. It's close to the man on the mark. Gets nowhere near it. Hooks the kick in towards the pocket. Gikas is there and does well to wrestle Garlett away from the ball, and it's out of bounds. Bit of a thrill for a young player. His dad's in the Cantillas bar looking on proudly here at TIO Stadium.
Yep, he's done a serviceable job on Garlett. Probably when he went off Garlett is when Garlett started getting back into the game.
Left forward pocket for Southern Districts. Scoreless in this final quarter. They were brave in the 3rd term. Can they find a goal? Tambling. Still Tambling. Goes to ground. Socket off the ground there by Brewer. Outside defensive 50. Winter Irving comes charging hard to Arnold, to Brain, over the top to Holt Fitz. Can go back to Brain. Steps back inside traffic. Such poise. Kicks in the sharp direction. Marks on his chest in front of Smith. 70 from goal right half forward. Sharp, long ball is brilliant to Melville. Thought about playing on once, twice, and will go back and line up for third. And the third time he plays on, easy as you like. A goal to Nightcliff. They're 15th. They bring up the ton, and Brain becomes the 9th goal scorer. No, in fact, he'd already kicked one, so they remain on 8. Brain has 2.
Brain has 2 for the game now. And again, just the clinical movement of the football. They're well organised, well drilled. You know, Liam Holtfitz was playing deep, and so was Sharp and Irving, and all of a sudden they switch over, they come up high. The midfields are starting on the ground, Cammy Islet's going forward, and all of a sudden they just keep on rolling the ball. And you have a look at their back line, they go to the best matchups they can, and they sacrifice their own game for the betterment of the team.
Getting close to doubling the Crocs score, Nightcliff. If the margin was just a couple of goals in the third term, it's been all the Tigers. 4 goals to nothing this quarter. Clark dances his way through and kicks on the left boot. Big spoil away. Bowles. Moo all alone on the wing. Bowden comes at him. It just clears a space for Eilert. He's 10 metres in the clear. Hard chase from O'Brien. Couldn't get him in the Winter Irving direction. Great spoil away there. And that was by Holman. And it's out of bounds 50 metres around from the Nightcliff goal at right half forward.
Even though they've sort of doubled their score at the moment, or close to, Holman's been quite serviceable down back. He played on Melville, kept him to 2 goals, and now he's on Irvine and he's kept him to 1, so he has done a pretty reasonable job down there.
Yeah.
Lane hand.
Yeah, he's an impressive player. Corbett. Staunton. Dylan Barry. Josiah Farah calls for it and receives and has got some space. He's had 1 bounce. He runs to 50. Wants Garlett on the bounce. Delivery wasn't great. Stanbrook quit snap. Will Farah has front spot. From behind, Brown spoils away, holds his feet and runs onto the footy. Wants the bounce. Tried to tow it along in front and stepped over the top of the footy, then gathered, then wins a free kick for a high tackle. It'll have to come back to the left back pocket for the Tigers. Sign of frustration more than anything. Tiredness from Will Farah. Just a little sloppy infringement. The ball had cleared the danger area anyway. And it comes back inside defensive 50 at the airport end for the Tigers in the hands of Nathan Brown, the former skipper. Kicks close to the boundary line and out of bounds on the full.
So it'll be 2 wins for the Nightcliff Tigers today. The Women's Premier League team defeated the Buffets earlier this afternoon as well. So, as the song suggests, they'll be a happy team down at Tigerland.
The president will be cheering tonight.
Oh, he will.
Staunton wanted Watts, missed him. Brewer comes up with it. Holtfitz grabs the footy. And a great kick to Sharp, who marks at centre half forward. Streaming backwards is Drogamuller. He'll get there. Dingo does everything to get to him, but Drogamuller takes a good mark. Dingo just got hands to the contest. But Drogamuller, with the well-weighted ball to the top of the square, was always in the best position.
Yeah, that's the second time that Keegan Dingo's been caught out in that situation where he sits off his player 30 metres in front. And quick transition to the football from Nightcliff, you think you'd learn from the first time just to close the space down a little bit earlier. But Hugo Drogamuller started back, went into ruck, now he's going forward, and there'll be the 10th goal kicker for Nightcliff if he puts this one through the middle.
For their 5th goal of the quarter, Big Hugo does it, and the margin is 55 points at the 16-minute mark of the final quarter.
Kicking accuracy, 7 goals in the second quarter, and they've kicked 5 goals, 2 at the 16-minute mark of the last quarter.
Believe it, but at quarter time, Southern Districts were leading Nightcliff. Hard to believe now.
Yeah, it's been a, I don't know where Districts go from here. Like, they show at glimpses at time that they can play and match the best, but consistency and intensity can't sustain the 4-quarter effort at the moment.
They're none from 4 from the Christmas break now.
Yeah, which is real worrying for the coaching staff. I know Shannon Rusker wears his heart on his sleeve, and he wouldn't be happy with it at all.
Yeah.
Miles wins the tap, although Corbett just crashed into him and wins a free kick.
They've had glimpses of those 4 games. They haven't played awfully.
No, they haven't been terrible, but...
Not a bad torpedo. Stanbrook direction. Riley taps to himself, socketed forward. comes to Brown, buries the pass down the throat of Philo, and away go the Tigers again. Defensive side of the centre. Worm-burning pass on the bounce. Brewer can't control it. Dingo comes at him hard. Brewer on hands and knees, farms out the handball. Advantage paid. There's a crude sling tackle, I think, being called. Wills are everywhere at the moment, and Brickner will line up for goal from directly in front, 30 metres out.
Yeah, it was just poor effort from Keegan Dingo. Then he affected the tackle and then just rode the Nightcliff player in the back, Guerrera, and gave a free kick, and Nightcliff having another shot on goal, and it could be their 6th for the quarter. And it could be Matt Bricknell's 2nd for the game.
First, I think.
First for the game. Oh, that's right. He had a couple of shots in that first quarter, didn't he, that he missed?
He's missed again. Well, Nolan won't be happy.
We had a performance like that. Kicking points might not get you in the 1s next week. Might be kicking the dew off in the 2s.
Well, I think he's missed 3 games with an ankle, so I guess you forgive him a little bit of rustiness. Watts, I think his teammate there in Jaden Clark. The giant ruckman Miles is first to the footy. Much smaller Staunton got to him and laid some body pressure. Good pressure from Jaden Clark. Now Jaden Pickett. And it's going to be a free kick for throw, I think. Warung will come up with it for the Crocs. On centre wing. He's tried hard all day for the Crocs.
Yeah, it was very good in that third quarter, when they started getting back in the game in the first 9 minutes. He was played on ball mostly and did really, really well to get the ball moving forward for them.
Zach Smith called to hurry up. High kick in from the side, Stanbrook. Riley, clever, off the ground to Eilert to Bowles. Vacant territory at centre half forward from behind Melville, brings the ball to ground. Moo lays some body pressure. In fact, it was Wills. Warung. Numbers with the Crocs out on the wing. Out to Duffy. He's got a player further down the line if he can get it to him. He's forced to go backwards to Ogden. Thinks about it. Then sends it out to the left half forward flank. So they keep control of the footy. Out comes Barry. That's better. Mooney spilled the mark. Took it too easily. Had the first grab on the chest. Thought he had control of the footy. And the ball goes to ground, and there'll be a ball up 55 out from the Crocs goal. Sums up their last quarter, really.
Yeah, when you have a bad day, you have a bad day, and things start rolling your way, and you drop your head and you drop easy marks like that, and it's disappointing, but that's football.
They remain scoreless in the final term. Brewer grabbed the footy, high kick, didn't travel the required distance. Innes was there for the Crocs. Wilson goes without it. Staunton sweeps it back to Warung. Kick out to the wing and McAdam. Kick went backwards in the end and only as far as Holt Fitz. Shrugged the McAdam tackle. Wills, can he control the ball? McAdam, desperate, fights on hard. And then farms it out to his teammate in Holman, and is that a throw that he's been penalised for?
Looks
unlucky because he fought on pretty hard in the end. But he had
pushed around.
He had a couple of Tigers around him. And they've come up with the ball. Phil Wills. Kick it, lopes down the Morris Rioli wing. He's 60 from goal. Steps around, drills the pass in the Moo direction. Brain overruns the footy. Jaden Watts another possession. Kicks long up towards Stanbrook. Dropping back courageously was Brewer as the biggest Stanbrook came out and took the mark. Stanbrook kicks in towards the forward pocket. Farah up in front over his head. And Brown, who's had a very good afternoon on the Crocs skipper, is happy to see it out of bounds. Gives away a bit of height, Nathan Brown, but just knows how to outposition his opponent, doesn't he?
Yeah, play with confidence, don't you, when you have playing a team like this, that you know that you do your job and someone else does theirs and everybody falls into line. And Jaden Watts did really well off half-back for Districts.
Innes beaten by Bowles in the ruck contest. Moo and Watts again. Watts picks it up, curls the kick and just can't quite keep it in, although the boundary umpire said he did. Maybe just touched the paint.
I was going to say like the Australian Open, you know?
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So we'll have a boundary throw in. Watts gained his team 30 metres from that quick kick down towards half forward. 22 minutes gone, final quarter. The Fizz has gone out of the game after an exciting third term when the Crocs fought their way back into it. Been all Nightcliff in the last quarter, 5 goals to nothing. Southern Districts have not troubled the scorers. They were 7-10 at three-quarter time. They're still 7-10. 5-3 this quarter to the reigning premiers. Drogamulla, Eilert, Brown. High kick on the left. Wills in front. Bowden from behind. Spoils away. Kick it and McLaughlin. McLaughlin socks off the ground only as far as Moo. Gives to Arnold. Nightcliffe away again. Melville comes out from full forward and marks on his chest. He's got Sharp running hard. He's a pretty sharing player, Melville, but couldn't quite get it over the top and might fancy his chances for his third goal of the afternoon from about 50.
Sharp still down in the square, should Melville not make the distance.
Sharp hoping to get his 6th, Melville hoping to get his 3rd. And 9 other goal kickers lining up for it as well.
From 51 metres, puts everything into it and can't quite bring it around. It's through for a behind only, and the margin is 57 points. 16-12, plays 7-10. Cadham brings it out to Morris Rioli, wing side of TIO Stadium. Innes spoils it away from Wills. Eilert, I should say, and it goes out of bounds. Nightcliffe minor premiers and look pretty hard to beat for back-to-back flags in about 6 weeks' time. Tambling tried hard all day. Handball towards the boundary line. Eilert there first, and happy to see it out of bounds with Josiah Farrer laying some pressure.
Interesting game next week. Nightcliffe up against the Tiwi Bombers, who have been in red-hot form for pretty well most of the season, sitting 3rd on the ladder, only behind St Mary's.
I think this time last year, Tiwi beat Nightcliffe at Tracy Village. Had an outstanding start to the game, kicked 8-1 in the first quarter.
There's the siren. Nightcliffe march on. They've confirmed the minor premiership if they hadn't already last week, with 3 rounds remaining. It's Nightcliffe, the top of the table Tigers, 16-13, 109, defeating Southern Districts 7-10-52.
Yes. So Nightcliffe were efficient in every, except for the first quarter where they kicked 7 points, and they should have probably kicked 5-2 for that quarter. They were pretty efficient from then on in, and Districts put a bit of a fight back into the third quarter, but at the end of the day, Nightcliffe, minor premiers, going back-to-back flags, and it's going to be, see what club's going to come up to beat them. I can't, at the moment, the way their list is, and I was talking to Cam Island, Chris Bucks this earlier this afternoon, and they haven't got any injuries, so they've got a full list to choose from.
16-13, 109. Nightcliffe defeats Southern Districts 7-10-52. You've been watching Aboriginal TV Channel 4's coverage of the TIO NTFL season. We'll see you next week when the Tiwi Bombers up against the Nightcliffe Tigers.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
It's almost time to go back to school. Urban students start school on Tuesday the 28th of January. Remote students start school on Wednesday the 29th of January. So go on, make school part of your story.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Mother Nature can be frighteningly predictable in the Territory this time of year. Heavy rains and damaging winds can cause significant problems and disruption, particularly if you're unprepared, while down power